Values. Dr. Tanmay Panda. Professor Business. Value is a foundational concept that appears across philosophy, ethics, society, economics, education, and management. At its most basic level, value means the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Human beings constantly make judgments about value when they decide what matters, what should be protected, what should be pursued, and what should be avoided. Because of this, value is not only an abstract idea but also a practical guide for decision-making and behavior. Whether we speak about the value of time, the value of honesty, or the value of a product, we are expressing a judgment about significance and benefit. In everyday life, value refers to the perceived importance of things, relationships, and activities. People assign value based on need, experience, emotion, and expected benefit. For example, health is valued because it enables living and functioning, time is valued because it is limited, and trust is valued because it supports relationships. This general sense of value shapes priorities. When individuals say something is valuable, they mean it deserves attention, protection, and wise use. Thus, value in common understanding is closely connected with choice and preference. In moral and ethical contexts, values are the guiding principles that shape human conduct and character. Moral values such as honesty, compassion, fairness, respect, and responsibility function as internal standards that help individuals judge right and wrong. These values are learned through family, culture, religion, and education, and they influence how people behave even when no external control is present. Ethical values are not merely rules imposed from outside. They become internal commitments that guide conscience. A person who values truthfulness will try to speak truth even when lying might bring advantage. Therefore, ethical value is deeply connected with character formation and moral responsibility. Social values operate at the level of community and culture. Every society develops shared values that help maintain order and cooperation. These include values such as equality, justice, mutual respect, cooperation, and social responsibility. Social values create expectations about acceptable behavior and define what a society considers desirable. They influence laws, customs, and institutions. When social values are strong and widely shared, social trust increases and conflict decreases. When social values weaken, disorder and mistrust may grow. Thus, value in the social sense acts as a binding force that holds communities together and guides collective behavior. In economics, value takes a more technical meaning related to usefulness and exchange. Economic value refers to the worth of goods and services in terms of their ability to satisfy needs and their power in exchange. Classical economists distinguished between use value, which is the usefulness of a good, and exchange value, which is its market price. Something may have high use value but low exchange value, or the reverse. Modern economics expands value to include perceived utility, scarcity, demand, and willingness to pay. Consumers decide value based on benefit relative to cost. Producers try to increase value by improving quality, reducing cost, or adding features. In this context, value becomes measurable and often expressed in monetary terms. In business and management, value is understood as the benefit created for stakeholders through organized effort and resources. Organizations exist to create value, whether in the form of products, services, knowledge, or social benefit. Customer value is created when offerings satisfy needs effectively and reliably. Employee value is created when organizations provide fair compensation, growth opportunities, dignity, and meaningful work. Investor value is created through sustainable returns and stability. Social value is created when business activity contributes positively to society and the environment. Modern management emphasizes value creation rather than mere activity, meaning that work must lead to meaningful outcomes for those affected. In educational contexts, value refers to the development of intellectual and character strengths that enable responsible living. Education is not only the transfer of information but also the cultivation of values such as discipline, curiosity, perseverance, respect for knowledge, and openness to truth. Value education aims to shape attitudes and habits that support ethical and constructive participation in society. When education ignores values, it may produce skilled individuals without moral direction. When it includes values, it produces balanced individuals capable of wise judgment and social contribution. Personal values represent the deeply held beliefs that guide an individual's life choices and priorities. These values differ from person to person and may include freedom, creativity, service, security, achievement, spirituality, or loyalty. Personal values influence career paths, relationships, lifestyle decisions, and response to challenges. When people act in harmony with their personal values, they experience greater inner consistency and satisfaction. When they act against their values, they often feel conflict and dissatisfaction. Understanding one's personal values is therefore important for self-management and purposeful living. Across all these contexts, value performs a unifying function by connecting judgment, choice, and action. It acts as a standard of worth, a guide to behavior, and a measure of benefit. Though the expression of value differs in ethics, society, economics, education, and management, the core idea remains the same. Value identifies what is considered important and worth pursuing. A mature understanding of value recognizes both measurable benefits and moral significance. In practical life and professional management alike, sustainable success depends on recognizing, creating, and protecting true value rather than pursuing short-term gain alone. Thank you. Dr. Tanmay Panda. Professor Business.